I created a fake Instagram profile, and my boyfriend swore he was single. What followed broke me. I just can't believe this happened. It's kind of ridiculous to think about now. I just made one stupid, bored move that totally turned my world around. I didn't wake up to ruin my relationship. I mean, I wasn't even angry with him that morning. It wasn't like there'd been some huge argument or I had real evidence of anything illicit. I just had that nagging sense, that creepy little voice in the back of my head telling me something's not right, and I couldn't get rid of it. So yeah, I created a fake Instagram account. I know how it sounds. It's not really the healthiest thing to do, right? But once you start paying attention to the little things, it gets to you. Like when he'd take hours to respond to my texts, or how he'd automatically lock his phone as soon as I entered the room. Little things that don't amount to much individually, but they accumulate. That morning, I sat on my bed looking at my phone, scrolling through his profile. Everything seemed fine. He still had our photos posted, still had taken red heart in his bio. But something was off. And rather than simply asking him like a regular human, I clicked a new tab, created a pseudonym, chose a random girl's picture, ensured it wasn't too on the nose, adorable but not overly glamorous, regular enough to go under the radar. Took me possibly 15 minutes. I chose Sofia as my name, claimed to be from Spain, posted a couple of things, a coffee picture, a beach, a sunglasses selfie. Simple stuff. And then, I trailed behind him. I didn't think he'd take me up on it. I thought maybe it'd be a while, or that he might not even register. But nope. In like an hour, he trailed back behind me. That's when my stomach fell. That little voice in my head grew loud. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe he just accepted everyone. Still, I couldn't let it go. I DM'd him. Nothing wild, just a hey. I think we've met online before. Total stranger vibes. I didn't even anticipate a response, so quick. But then, hey, for real? Where? My heart was racing. I gazed at the screen as if I'd opened a secret door I wasn't meant to open. I swallowed hard, my fingers trembling slightly as I typed out a response. From a mutual friend. I'm Sofia from Spain. We spoke once, maybe. His response came back almost instantly. Oh yeah, I think I remember now. And that's when I knew. That's when everything in me turned cold. Because there was no recollection. We never met. I didn't exist. He was just making it up. For no other reason than to keep talking. I set my phone aside for a moment and looked at the ceiling. I felt ill. But I continued. I asked him why he was still up, casual small talk. And I swear, I wasn't prepared for what he said next. One of my university friends died tonight, he wrote. My jaw dropped. I just sat there staring at that message. Like, really? Really? That's the story? It felt slimy. Like the kind of thing a person says when they don't know what else to say to get attention. Who lies about something like that? I didn't reply right away. I honestly wasn't sure what to say. But he kept going. Began explaining to me how sad he was. How it made him understand that life was short. I bit my lip, shaky hands typing out the response. Struggling to maintain my fake identity while my actual heart shattered. Then I asked him directly. Do you have a girlfriend? I held my breath. I don't even know why. Some small part of me wanted him to say yes. To own up to it. But no. No, he wrote. I just broke up. She was German. She always asked too many questions about me. A month ago, my stomach twisted so tightly that I was pretty sure I might actually puke. Because to my knowledge, we were still a couple. In fact, he'd called me the night before. Told me he missed me. Said he loved me. Now here he was, telling some random fake Spanish girl that he was single. I stared at that message until my vision blurred. I couldn't believe it. Actually, I could. That was the worst part. I asked again just to be sure. Are you sure? You're really single? And again. Yeah. 100%. Single now. I locked my phone and tossed it across the bed. Sat there with my hands over my face, trying not to cry. My heart was opening wide, like it was cracking in two. Because this wasn't some random stranger. This wasn't some Tinder dude I barely knew. This was my boyfriend. The guy I'd trusted. The guy I'd shared everything with. And now I was nothing more than some ex from Germany in his narrative. Some aside he could delete whenever he chose. I couldn't stop shaking. It wasn't even about the fake account anymore. It was about seeing that everything I'd thought about us, it was all a lie. And if that wasn't enough, about 20 minutes later, my actual phone buzzed. It was him, my real boyfriend, calling me, texting me. Hey babe, just wanted to say goodnight. I miss you.
Good night.
I miss you. I just sat there with it, mouth agape in utter disbelief. I felt ill, because how do you even deal with something like that? How do you get your head around the fact that as he's explaining to one girl that he's not available, he's texting some other babe? That was the bit that totally destroyed me. The sheer duplicity of the whole thing. As if I was living in two entirely different worlds simultaneously. On the one hand, I was his girlfriend.
On the other, I didn't even exist.
I put my phone down again, both phones now. The real account. The fake one. I scrolled back in the chat. Read every message over. And then something else struck me. I asked him on the fake account where he was just offhand. And he said, I'm on a trip with friends. Friends. Which would have been okay. Except I knew precisely where he was. He was on a trip with his ex. The ex he swore he never talked to anymore. The ex who was ancient history. I'd seen the photo-tagged posts. I'd even questioned him about it previously. And he'd stared me straight in the face and told me it was nothing. That he was merely with a group. That I was paranoid. But now it all fitted into place. Everything. The late-night texts. The sneaky behavior. The excursions. It all clicked into place like a jigsaw that I'd been trying to piece together for months. And now I had the missing piece.
I sat there for a while.
Just breathing. Trying to figure out what to do.
A part of me wanted to call him.
To scream. To fling everything in his face. But another part of me. I wanted him to hurt.
To feel that same knot in his chest.
That same betrayal. So I didn't say anything immediately. I just let it sit. Let the weight of it settle in my bones. Because I knew whatever came next, it was going to change everything. And once I opened my mouth, when I said the words aloud, there'd be no going back. But really? That's what he deserved. Because no one deserves to be lied to like that. And I was not going to let it slide. It's funny how silent things sound after your heart breaks. Like I used to think it'd be loud, crying and screaming and shattering things. But sitting there in my room, looking at two phones like some stupid hacker from a terrible Netflix series, it wasn't even loud at all. It was silent.
Too silent.
I kept reading our actual texts back and forth, me and him. And then flipping over and reading the fake chat. Same dude.
Same day.
Two entirely different individuals. I guess that's what actually played games with my head. He wasn't merely lying. He was living an entire double life, like a video game. And I didn't know whether I should laugh or cry. I didn't sleep that night. Each time I shut my eyes, his name would flash on my phone again.
Babe.
Like nothing had occurred. The next morning he sent me a trip selfie. Smile.
Sunglasses.
Cool guy pose. I gazed at it for so long. And then I remembered he'd said my fake account he was on a trip with friends. Friends.
Right.
So I did what any sleep-deprived, heartbroken girl would do. I began snooping. Step 1. View his tagged photos. But there weren't any new ones. So I viewed his friends' stories. Nothing there either. Then I viewed his ex's Instagram. Bingo. She'd put up a boomerang, clinking glasses with him. His watch. His bracelet. His stupid fake smile.
As clear as day.
And in the caption? Vacation with my favorite person. Favorite person. I didn't even get surprised anymore. Just hollow. That was when the anger finally hit. Because being lied to is one thing. But being made to feel invisible? That hurts different. I almost texted him then. Thumb over the keyboard. But something stopped me. Perhaps pride. Perhaps pettiness. I don't know. Instead, I opened my fake account once more. He'd sent another message. Hey, I'm free later if you want to talk. Seriously? So I went along with it. Sure, I'd like that, I replied, acting like Sophia. We chatted informally for a little while. Nothing heavy. And the entire time I kept alternating phones, reading both exchanges. One moment he was telling me, his girlfriend, how much he missed me. The next he was telling Sophia she was cool, he'd love to travel to Spain one day. It was disgusting. But I wasn't finished. I needed to know how deep it was. So I probed a little deeper as Sophia. I asked, "Are you dating anyone right now?" Even casually. I waited, heart pounding even though I already knew what he'd tell me. And like clockwork.
No.
I'm single. Single. Double confirmation. At that point, something in me kind of broke, like a string pulled too far, and finally snapped. This wasn't just about me anymore. It wasn't just about a breakup. It was about not letting him get away with this. Because if he could do this to me, he could do it to someone else. And I wasn't about to stay quiet. That night, I screen recorded everything. Our real chats. The fake chats. His ex's posts. Everything. I made a little folder on my phone called Proof.
Petty?
Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely. And still, I didn't confront him. Not yet. Because I wanted to watch how far he'd go. 2 days later, I got my answer. He requested Sophia's number. Told her he wanted to hear her voice. I could hardly contain my laugh. It was so cliché, I nearly respected it. Nearly. But then it really gets insane. The same evening he requested my fake account's number. He called me.
Actuarme.
With this depressed, exhausted voice. Saying he missed me. That he'd been thinking about our future. Speaking of how difficult things had been recently, but he didn't want to lose me. Like some thespian reading lines from a terrible romance film.
I wanted to yell.
Or cry. Or both. But instead, I remained silent. I said, "Yeah, I miss you too." Like an absolute idiot. Because part of me, the stupid, optimistic part, still wanted it not to be true.
But it was.
The next morning, things took another turn. I woke up to a DM on my actual Instagram. From his ex. I swear, I nearly dropped my phone. The message was straightforward.
Hey.
Can we talk? My stomach sank. I didn't respond immediately. I needed to sit down and actually catch my breath for a moment. Because what were the chances? Was she contacting me some kind of revenge? Or was she in the dark too? After a good 10 minutes of just staring at it, I finally responded. About what? And she said, "I think we've both been lied to." That's when I knew. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just some mistake or fling. He was running both of us. Probably more. Who knows? So I agreed to talk. We arranged a video call, me and her, face to face for the first time. It was awkward at first. Neither of us really knew what to say. But then she pulled out her phone. The texts. The pictures. The very same crap he'd been giving me. I pulled hers out. And we just
sat there.
Two strangers, connected by one guy's deceit. It was like seeing a house of cards collapse in slow motion. But the strangest thing? I wasn't sad anymore. Not really. I felt relieved.
Because at least now.
I wasn't crazy. All those nights I'd felt paranoid, insecure. It wasn't in my head. It was real. He was the issue. Not me. That evening, I finally acted. I called him.
FaceTime.
And when he picked up, all sleepy-eyed, playing dumb like he'd missed me, I slammed both accounts in his face. Hoisted up my actual phone. Hoisted up the imposter Sophia account on my other screen. And just stood there and watched his face shift. The color leached out of him. He didn't even attempt to deny it. Didn't even bother. He just hung up. Like the coward that he was. And honestly, that was the best part. Because I didn't require his apologies. I had my evidence. I had my closure. And for the first time in weeks, I finally felt liberated. You imagine there's going to be this huge, explosive moment when everything stops. Like the movies. Someone screaming, things flying, storming out of the room. That's what I imagined, seriously. But real life? Real life is quieter. Almost icy. After he hung up on that FaceTime call, I just sat there for about 10 minutes, just staring at the black screen with my face reflected on it, like some moron. Not shaking, not crying, just hollow. But I wasn't finished. I wasn't going to let him get away with just ghosting me like that. So I texted him once more. Just one sentence. I hope she was worth it. No response. I waited a day. Nothing. By the second day, I was browsing his Instagram again. Out of habit. And that's when I saw it. My name was missing.
Blocked.
He'd blocked me. That was how it was over.
No conversaste. No epalegi.
He just deleted me like I'd never been there. I glared at the screen and actually laughed. A harsh, dry laugh that didn't feel pleasant at all. But here's where it hit me really. Later in the evening, his ex texted me once more. She told me he blocked me too. So I wasn't special after all. We were just collateral damage in some game of his. It stung. I'm not lying. It hurt like hell. But there was something about knowing I wasn't alone that helped me breathe a little easier. It wasn't done for me yet, however. There was something I had to do. Something that I'd been putting off. I opened my camera album and browsed through every photo we'd ever taken. Every selfie. Every vacation. And I went through each of them one by one, deleting them. Not all dramatic. No sound in the background.
Just click. Delete.
Next. Until there was nothing. But I wasn't dumb enough to believe that deleting photos would erase the memories. That doesn't stick with you. A few days went by, and I genuinely believed that was it. Until my best friend rang me, completely out of the blue. She asked, "Did you notice what he put up?" I didn't even need to ask who she was talking about. I said to her, "He blocked me." And she texted me a screenshot. It was him, with some new girl. Caption, "When you know, you know." I couldn't even be angry anymore. I was just numb, like living a stranger's life rather than mine. But then it struck me. That girl. She had no idea. She was in the exact place I had been. Smiling, trusting, naive. And I don't know if it was the right thing, or if it mattered, but I messaged her, using my fake account. Nothing threatening. Nothing nasty. Just, "Hey, don't know if you'll believe me, but I was in your place not too long ago. Check his tags. Check who he follows. Be careful." She never responded. And perhaps she blocked me too. Who knows? But I'd done my best. Then I truly let it go. It wasn't my duty to rescue anyone else from him. I'd lived through it. That was enough. Strange thing is, you always hear people utter, "I'll never trust anyone else again." And I understand it now. That sensation. As if every smile is a lie. Every sentence scripted. But I also know I don't want to live with that burden for the rest of my life. Because if I let him destroy love for me, he wins twice. And I'm not letting him have that.
So yeah.
That's how it actually ended. Not with fireworks. Not with closure. Just me, alone, getting through one day at a time. And him? Good luck to him playing his little games. Because soon enough they always catch up on people like that. Always. When everything went down, I vowed to step away from social media for a bit. I deleted my bogus account. I unfollowed shared friends. Even muted folks who might accidentally post about him. And in all honesty, it was tougher than I anticipated. You get accustomed to filling those silence gaps with scrolling. Initially, I used to find myself unlocking my phone automatically without even realizing it, just muscle memory. But gradually it quieted down. My mornings did not feel like a chore anymore. My evenings were not spent waiting for a text that wouldn't come. I began sleeping better. That came as a surprise. There was this morning, perhaps 2 weeks after the last letter I wrote, when I woke up and did not think about him once the previous day. Not even once. That was the first time I truly felt free. Not mad. Not blue. Just finished. And I needed that. But there's always this strange place after something like that is over. Like, who am I without him now? So, I began figuring that out. Went out more. I caught up with friends I'd been too caught up in my relationship to see as much. Folks I'd sort of put on the back burner, without even knowing it. Odd how you do that when you think someone's your entire world. I took yoga classes. It sounds cheesy, but truthfully, it was a help. Getting my body moving, stilling my mind. It provided something else for me to concentrate on rather than what-ifs and memories. Small things felt good again. Walking to the coffee shop in the mornings. Sitting out on my balcony with a book. I wasn't glued to my phone anymore. I wasn't holding my breath for his name to show up. That was the biggest victory. Sure, there were still tough days. I'm not going to act like it was all easy from there on out. There'd be times when I'd hear a song that we used to listen to, and it would get to me out of the blue. Or I'd drive by a spot where we'd go together. A restaurant. A park. And for a second, everything would come back. But it went by quicker each time. Until it was just a flicker instead of a storm. The real full-circle moment happened about 3 months later. I was sitting at this coffee shop, working on my laptop, minding my own business. And out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. A message request. From him. I almost didn't open it. My first instinct was to delete it immediately.
But curiosity got the better of me.
It was just one sentence.
Hey.
I've been thinking about you. That's it.
No explanación. No palegui.
Just that. I looked at it for about 5 minutes. Not because I was wanting it. I wasn't. But because it just seemed so small. Like after all that went down, all he could muster up to say was 7 words. I didn't respond. Not even a scene. I blocked his number immediately after. And that was actually the closure. Not some grand conversation. Not receiving the answers to all my questions.
Just
knowing I didn't need any of it anymore. I didn't need him to tell me why he lied. I didn't need him to apologize. I didn't need him at all. That's what healing actually looks like. Quiet.
simple.
You just wake up one day and realize you're good.
You're whole again.
Not because they fixed it. Because you did. Because you picked up the pieces yourself. I don't look at his Instagram anymore. I don't wonder who he's with and what he's doing. He's just a somebody I knew. And despite how much it hurt, I'm thankful now. Because losing him helped me discover myself again. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Not even for the version of him I believed existed. If you've ever trusted someone and they broke it like this, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button for more real stories just like this one. Fa.